And we're back. I'm your host, Tassan Aline.
Co-host Carl Williams.
And what were we saying before the break?
Yeah.
On the drugs. That drug epidemic and it's still here. And it's still here. And they want to say, oh, the blacks, we're we're the ones that's causing the problem. But they have intensified. They have intensified the incarceration process. They're adding some icing to the cake. They said, we're going to kill them all. We're going to execute them. And people didn't kill thousands of people. The drug dealers are responsible for killing thousands of people. Give me a break. How many people are the doctors? I'm talking about the medical doctors responsible for killing. I don't hear them talking about executing them. And they're killing somebody every day with those bad operations they're giving them. They don't care. They want that money. They got to have that money. And they're not talking about the pharmaceutical companies that are making the drugs.
No.
They're making the drugs. They say, well, we'll take them to court. We'll find them, but we're going to execute any dealers, any drug dealers. So any of you black folks out there, so that's what they say, you're the drug dealer now. It don't matter. Don't matter if you're going to school, if you're in a, they stop people now every day because you're driving a truck. Young black man in a truck, even women now, young black women. And the trucks, they sell more trucks in this country now than they do cars. So they come to claim if you're in a truck, you're a drug dealer. Isn't that something? Oh, all the time. Where you get this from? What you doing in this SUV? Oh yeah, y'all don't know that. Oh well, you better stay tuned. All of the folks that are on the opioid, sleep inducing. That's what it is. So when you go to the doctor and you get some narcos or any of that, then that's something else. They call the drugs narcos. Narcotics. That's what they're taking, but they're not addicts. You would look. You can say that the adult population in America, 90% of the adult population in America is on drugs, drug addicts. And you say, I'm not an addict, but you can't do without your pills. You can't do without your narcos. What's them other pills they take? There's Xanax. Well, they got a whole lot of stuff.
All you gotta do look at TV.
That these folks are
It's
taking.
all on TV now.
Yeah, it's all on.
The side effects, don't take this pill because it gives you all these different side effects. I mean, they just putting it out there and putting it in your face.
And so we're going to vote. We're going to have, look at how slick they are. You'll say they're taking our vote. But somebody's voting. They're going to vote. We voted for medical marijuana. And Youngblood thinks that because he's got a medical marijuana card, that they won't lock him up. That they won't lock his simple behind up. They're going to put you in jail, the one that they don't execute. That they don't execute you on the street. You put your hands up and they shot you in the back anyway. Because marijuana violates the federal law. Donald Trump is the federal president. He's not a state president. He's the federal president. He's the president of the United States of America. And that's a federal crime. And they're sending the troops in. And they're going to use local law enforcement with this multi-district thing. Oh, yeah. They're saying it. They're trying to take away the sanctuary cities to run the Mexicans out, lock them up. This is really a no-brainer. It's them versus us. And it's, how do they say it? It's just like shooting ducks in the pond.
Yes,
we're sitting ducks. We are sitting duck, and we don't have sense enough to move. If you don't want to get shot, then you should be a moving target if you don't want to get hit. We sitting there saying, oh, come on with it. I'm going to vote for redistricting to give up my vote, to give away my congressman's seat out there in the 13th district. We're going to vote for all that crazy stuff. Then you say, oh, I'm going to vote because I think we should have recreational marijuana, even though it's against the federal law. And who going to get shot down? We are. Our children, grandchildren, nephews, and nieces are going to get shot down. Even our granddaddies. That's right, your 60 and 70-year-old granddaddy is going to get shot down because the police thought he was a drug dealer. That ain't funny, but it happens every day. They don't care. Do you know, it was, that guy came out there on television Sunday and over on Al Sharpton's show and said there was 76, I think it was 76 people, 79 people killed in America last year. That we haven't even heard about half of them people killed. I know I hadn't heard about them.
79, you say?
Yeah, about 79. 76, 79 people shot by the police, killed by the police in America in 1 year. Even though all these protests about the police violence going on, what do you think gonna happen when the Trumpski gives them the green light, not the red light? They gonna have, there's a green light. That's a green light on shooting black folks in America. You gotta be crazy if you don't know that. They got the go sign. They got a go signal. We already know what they're gonna say. I was scared for my life. I feared for my life. Well, you shot him running. Well, he was running in the opposite direction. I thought he was coming back. Oh, man, it's hilarious.
Well, they're going to use that same lie until there's pressure and opposition to it. We know it's a lie, but, you know, it's not being put out there that it's a lie. There's no publicity about the lie that they telling.
Well, we act like we don't even know, even though we're voting for all this crazy stuff. Why would we vote? And then why would we vote to give them the money? That's what I want to know. Somebody please tell me, why are we voting to give all these white folks and Chaldeans and Arabs, everybody the money but us? How many blacks got a dispensary? How many of them? All these places in the city of Detroit, do we have 1, 2, or 3?
Yeah, you got 'em.
What?
I know somebody that got one.
One? Oh, wow. But it's over 100 of them, right?
Yeah.
And we got one. Wow, that's crazy. But our folks, our relatives sit in prison. Our relatives sit up there in prison for 20 and 30 years. I wouldn't give them a dime. I wouldn't, hey, we need to vote it down until they let our people out of jail. They just want them to sit there and rot in jail for 30, 40 years. That don't make sense.
No, it don't.
Carla, you on the line. Thanks for holding.
Oh, good morning.
Good morning.
I really waited a long time. I'm not always able to call you all, but I do watch the show.
Thank you.
Tyrone mentioned there must be something else we can do. And that prompted me back to spirituality, back to metaphysics, the difference between the invisible realm, which is the spiritual realm, and the natural. We cannot handle these folks on the natural realm because they are the conspirators that have set up this realm. They are trying to get us back into powerless by bringing us now into technology. Everything we do is going to go through a machine, through technology. So they're taking us in the spirit realm through technology, but we are not connecting back to God the way we work or created in the spirit, not in the flesh. We got to be born again, as Nicodemus told, as Jesus told Nicodemus. We've got to transform. It's all in Genesis, the first book of the Bible. So when God created, he created man, breathed in him, through him, and he became a living soul. But they were spirit at that time. You read that. Because they did not know they were naked. Adam and Eve did not know they were naked until after God left them in the garden and gave them instruction, do not eat of that tree of the knowledge of good and evil. And they ate of that tree. And when God returned to them, he was looking at them and said, Adam, where are you? And Adam said, we hid. And he asked him, why did you hide? He said, because we were naked. That meant they now had a body. We are spiritual beings. We must rise up and come into the new birth, being born of the Spirit, and have the Spirit, Holy Spirit, reveal the truth to us. And we will have our authority back. We will be a higher level of living than this third dimensional game that they're playing with us. Where we can decree a thing and it'll be established.
Okay. Well, we appreciate that.
All right. I know this isn't a spiritual show, but I must say that's what we're missing. The preachers are not preaching how to use the Word of God.
Thank you.
That's what we need. All right.
All right. Bye-bye. Well, we need some help, that's for sure. Caller, you on the air. Hello?
Let me ask you a question here. I understand the Supreme Court hearing the Flint water crisis scenario, lawsuits against the governor. Was that the state Supreme Court, or was that the U.S. Supreme Court that turned down a hearing? I didn't know. I was wondering if you guys knew that.
I heard something about that, but I didn't catch which court it was in.
I think it was the state, but I'm not for sure.
So he's going to get away with poisoning 103,000, about 20 in the grave, and he's still walking around collecting a check. That is unbelievable.
Well, you look. Well, we know that he. Meaning, I shouldn't say he. Yeah, he gonna get away. It look like it, but the people that are bringing these lawsuits keep forgetting. I say they gonna forget. I'm gonna be nice about it and say they forget intentionally. They forgot to do it intentionally, I guess. They left out certain things. You know, one guy wasn't in the right court. We heard about that. Then they didn't file with the department first before they could make that Clean Water Act. There's a lot of things they are not doing that they should. So that's what I call throwing the fight.
The main thing they're not doing, they're not saying that the governor violated his oath of office. I don't know why it's so hard for them to say. It's no need to even go in there. And if you're not going to say what he done, and I just read earlier.
Man, you just can't give somebody carte blanche to go out and reduce the deficit, and then this person does not have to report what he's doing or how he.
Well, they're not asking him that. Look, you know, they got a permit, meaning Dow Chemical, General Motors got permits from the Department of, what they call it, EDQ, Environmental Quality. They got a permit to dump that toxic waste in the water. Now, how come they're not saying that? How come they're not saying all these different toxic chemicals that they putting in the water? And one of them was probably lead, so they knew the lead was in the water. They're not saying the obvious. We let them get away with that. All of these protest marches, I've heard a lot of them, these different people, when we sat down and did our little discussion, or, you know, we sat down at the think tank meetings and went over Flint, and we say, hey, we came up with that. We got to get a copy of this permit. Because, they, you know, you get to thinking about it, you have to have a permit to dump waste.
Yeah.
So they got a permit. General Motors, Dow Chemical, those companies up in Flint got permits to dump that waste, those chemicals, those carcinogenics in the water. Wasn't nobody drinking Flint River water then. But the preachers and all these folks going to court won't bring up the permits and the fact that the state knew it was there. Even if the governor didn't know it was there, which we know he did because he ran around and says, hey, look, I'm giving you these filters. I'm giving you the filter. Don't tell nobody. Now, they don't put that in the lawsuit. They don't question that man. They don't get an affidavit from these people. You know, what they call them, interrogatory. They don't go and get this information where they question them under oath without them being in court, and they can use that in court and say the man or woman had perjured themselves and lock them up for lying. They don't do any of the stuff that they're going after Donald Trump. If we want to know actually what they're not doing, all we got to look at what they're saying every day on television about Trump and his investigation. So they're not doing any of that stuff for the governor. One guy, the president, they said we're going to rake him over the coals. This guy, we're going to just use kid gloves with him. But what's wrong with us? What's wrong with all these preachers and all these lawyers out here that are double agents? And we talk about the black ones. The white ones don't care, oh well. What about the lawyers that out there, you know, their mothers and fathers didn't know they were sending them to school to be chumps and Uncle Toms, and they thought they were sending them to school to fight for their own people.
Uncle Tom was too generous.
Okay,
Sambos.
Sambos. Yeah, that's so. It's a lot of stuff going on. Carl, do you want to take a few minutes to talk about that smart meter?
Smart meters. Yeah, well, I told you last week that we were going to talk about these new meters, the digital meters.
Detroit Edison.
Yeah. Some of them are called smart meters. Sometimes they call them advanced meters. But what you need to know about this, now I just ran across this here, and this is the definition that they give. Smart meters measure the use of a product such as electricity and sending usage, information supply on regular basis. Oh, wait a minute, that ain't the right one.
They talking about it though.
Well, they say basis according to the American Cancer Society.
Well, that sounds like the right one to me if they talking about cancer.
Now, okay, that was another one.
All right.
But this is the one I was, okay, smart meter is an electronic device that is installed at the consumer location and back to the utility for billing and monitoring. You hear that? Billing and monitoring. A smart meter may also be a device for recording, but they say water consumption, but that recording don't necessarily have to be water consumption because these digital meters work by frequency.
So when you open your mouth, that's a frequency, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So they recording what's going on in your
they're
house.
recording what's going on. So these meters is an invasion of privacy, and also they have health
Well, that first
factor
one, the
benefits.
first one you read said it had something to do with cancer, didn't it?
Yes, that's just one thing. Let me find the sheet here. It's a, oh, here it is. Matter of fact, you could go online and put in EMF Safety Network.
EMF
Mm-hmm.
Safety Network.
And they would tell you it'll look like this. I don't know if you could see it.
Okay.
But they got down here trouble sleeping, headaches, learning problems, heart problems, balance problems, leg cramps, eye problem, fatigue, and ringing in the ear. Now, these are some of the complaints that was filed on these smart meters in various cities. I think Australia, they did it in Australia. They did it in California. I believe Cleveland. And I think maybe Chicago. But that just was a few of them, but then they got a bunch of more symptoms on here. Disorientation, dizziness, balance eye problem, including eye pain, pressure in the eye, cardiac system, heart palpitation, heart rhythm, chest pain, leg cramps, arthritis, body pain, nausea, flu-like system, sinus problem, nosebleed, respiration problem. So all these problems, the average person wouldn't even associate this with a digital meter
On the back of their house.
on the back of your house.
Electrical digital meter that's supposed to be reading.
Electricity.
Yeah, well, that is some stuff, though. That's some serious stuff.
Yeah, some serious stuff, but you know, DTE Energy was supposed to inform the people of the adverse effects of it. And they can't say they didn't know, because I've been sending them letters for the last 3 years about this before they even start putting them in. So, you know, people, you need to be aware of what's going on, and you need to write them, you need to call, and you can complain about it. Tell them that you heard, you did your research, and you found out that this meter that they had put in without your consent and approval, that it causes all these side effects and you don't want it.
Wow. Especially the people that got. Let's take some calls. Caller, you on the air.
Yes, I think that was very important that Carl just read. And maybe a lawsuit on that here. I don't know if there's anything like that going. If you find out, Carl, you might should report it to people that we can take some legal action on that as far as civil legal action. But I want to say a thing real fast. Not only did our politicians sell us out, and most of them was college grads. That's how you identify them. They did that all over the country, the black politicians. But you remember when they bought the educated preachers with faith of the Council of Baptist pastors. But
right.
More so than that, don't forget, in 1967, after the rise, J.L. Hudson and the CEOs of the corporation created New Detroit. When they created New Detroit, they started buying up all the so-called community activist leaders of these groups. They all became 501c3. They got their money through being a non-profit. That's why you never had a direct mass marching in Detroit made up of the masses of people. You only had some picketing by the so-called activist group with just a few people. We never had a mass direct action, a mass movement of the people in Detroit. We never had it. But only through that you hurt the economy with thousands and thousands of people every day, like those teachers did over in West Virginia. They stayed out 9 days. They didn't go lay down in General Motors for half an hour and get up and go get some hamburger and holler hee-ho. Those was not mass marching. Those were speaking truth to power. In other words, begging those that's doing it to us to please stop doing it. We never had a mass march in Detroit of the ordinary people, because in 1967, J.L. Hudson told the activist leader, do not organize a mass movement. Welfare rights with a few people, little 14th Street with a few people, Helen Moore with one or two people, called herself educated, but ain't never had masses of people. Those was not mass marching. So when somebody say you had mass marching in Detroit, we never had it. We never had mass marching where we would stay out every day and tie up traffic and economic to purpose to hurt the economy. So you got to have people to do that. So
all right. Okay. Thank you. Okay, caller.
Hey, how you doing?
All right, you're the last caller, so go ahead.
Yeah, all right. Not too much time. Great show as always. Big up RJ, Henry Tyler, and you guys too. You know, two of the greatest guys, you know, on TV today. The drug policies, you know, and the social civics is, you know, and what they're doing to us is not adding up. You know, I'm surprised that a lot of people haven't done their social civics, you know, research to find out that the reason why they do us so-called black people the way they do is because we're not citizens. This is why nothing happens to Governor Snyder. He understands, and his constituents understand.
Caller, you're going to have to call us earlier. We got to go. Thanks a lot. Just call us earlier next week. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I don't know where the time goes, but it flies. We don't want to go, but we have to go. This is the fastest hour in television anywhere. Don't forget, next week, 9 o'clock. We're here every Tuesday at 9 o'clock. I'm your host, Hassan Aline.
Co-host Carl Williams.
Until next week, peace.